So it allows your shoulders to really twang, and you can see like there's it's almost like a spring you see off his turns. There's like a
Well, those ones are a little more radical. I'm not adding that. I'm not adding, but like I mean, his smaller adjustments though. I think also, I mean, back to like what we were talking about, or kind of something that's been thematic is the understanding of where the power is in the wave.
Exactly.
Right. That's what all great surfers. Well, that's Stephanie Gilmore is. You're like, why aren't they turning yet? Why aren't they turning yet? You're like, because that's not where you turn.
Exactly.
Because they're waiting to have that speed and for the wave to just do that thing that they've recognized from waves prior, which were not identical to that wave. But there's enough pattern recognition. And that's like one of the things with teaching surfing is that, and what makes it a little different from martial arts, I would say. Again, because the ocean is so dynamic, and like humans are like the ocean in an unpredictable kind of way, but nothing is as unpredictable cosmically as the weather in the ocean. And I think that with surfing, well, like as with quantum physics, things only hold for the most part up to a point where they all then break down, right? Like entropy is the like second law of thermodynamics. Like it is like the law of everything, and maybe that's true of everything, but really like on a hard and fast teaching surfing level, my students always want these rules that apply across scenarios. I'm like, I can't give you one of those except for like general rules. Like aloha is like easier, right? Recognition, respect, understanding, but then even then, like because of people's sense of entitlement and their misappropriation of entitlement on a variety of levels, there can even be exceptions in those cases. Like, ethics are hard. Anyway, like you have to have certain rules, right, in order for the grammar to work. Like, and I do believe that like you can learn certain rules. Like my dad always taught me this one, don't turn your back on the ocean, even if it's small, like when you're getting out of the water.
Well, that's Duke's rule. You never turn your back on the ocean. You're not supposed to at all. Yeah, you actually have a whole rules for surfing in your paper here that I really loved, and I thought these are great foundational rules that people should just know. Like this should be on a leaflet that is handed out at every surf shop, every surf school, every surfboard rental.
I just need an agent, Tyler. Any agents that are listening, get this, fast track this project if I get a book deal.
Well, we can make the leaflets easy and just sell advertising to local pizza places and whatnot, But let me. Do you mind if I read these? Because I really love them.
I forgot what I wrote, so go for it.
Well, number one is one must know how to swim. This might be a minimum requirement rule. Number two is if you are not learning in the context of a kinship structure, seek out a teacher or guide. It is not possible to effectively learn on one's own. Number three, one must learn the basic vocabulary of surfing. It is impossible to identify surf conditions if one does not know what words correspond to which phenomena, which I love this one here because that is something that is totally forgotten, I feel like, particularly with every surf school, everything I've ever seen out there. Like no one talks about the lingo and the language that we use to describe waves. And it's very similar to like Eskimos have 1,000 names for snow and we have 1,000 waves for waves. So I think this is a crucial one because it could save you if you don't know what someone says. Like, yeah, they're kind of sucking out and draining. Like, well, if you're a beginner, you probably shouldn't surf that wave,
Yeah.
It
also reinforces, just to add on that, also, when you're able to say the thing that you see, it means that you're apprehending it, what you're looking at, right? And in order to like actually engage in the wave field or the lineup, in order to engage meaningfully in the lineup and have a meaningful and rewarding surfing experience, like it helps to have like a rough understanding of like what the names of the things that you're engaging with, just on a super basic level.
The other is number four is one must check the surf before paddling out. Duh. It's like, one must learn to handle the board correctly. That is able to pick it up and put it down without dropping it. I cannot tell you how many times, how many people I see who just don't learn how to hold the board properly. Or they just hold it horizontally to
I know.
themselves, and
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
and it's like, oh my
The
God,
one
you're
arm over the
putting yourself in danger a lot of times. And that is definitely neglected a lot of times, or it's not shown to people properly or emphasized. And that's
I feel like too, like I know there's like a lot of pop outs now, and that's we could go down this whole road
yeah,
with that, but like there's still there's something about respecting the shaper and the object that we use to like there is a little bit of a sacredness to our practice
yeah,
and to the and there's craftsmanship in so many different levels of what we do. And there was a time when most of the world's greatest surfers also shaped their own boards
yeah,
and had like a really intimate relationship to their boards. And then, I mean, obviously on the ancient level, right, they had like priest ceremonies
yeah.
to chop down the right tree.
There was
Uh,
so much more. I mean, like the
yeah,
rituals that were involved in making a board back then, and like shaping like a koa wood board.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, like
yeah, definitely. I mean, I
later.
mean, I think it just shows like like I just think that like surfing can benefit from like just aloha to like every aspect of what we're doing to our equipment and and to one another and to the ocean, so board control is like
Respect.
part of that. Yeah, it's respecting the equipment and the culture that comes before you, right? There's a way to carry any board that yeah.
It's crucial, and I think there's the whole there's a respect thing that I think has gone missing a lot. And like the respect, like you said, the respect for the equipment and the ocean are two really important ones. The fact that we have surfers that deny climate change shows a great disrespect to the ocean. It's like, to me, that sort of stuff is like, how are you even a surfer if you don't even want to protect the thing that gives you the thing you love so much? It's just,
The
I could go.
spinozistic answer to that, which is like I know it's hard to have understanding and compassion for people that develop those kinds of viewpoints, is
Yeah.
that like they aren't seeing clearly. And
Yes. Going back
to
to the beginning here of Conatus,
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
clearly.
So the they're misapprehending the way certain things like hang together and
Hmm.
how things are mutually and there are so many personal and historical explanations for why they're blocked off, in
Hmm.
Heidegger's language, it's covered over. So the like and uh in the language of psychoanalysis, they're concrete. So
Hmm.
their imaginations actually like aren't functioning optimally. And they're just going to turn that around on the criticism of them and say, no, well, yours isn't and you're not seeing, but like
Yeah.
if you get down to it though, you're going to find some like lack of flourishing. I always like view the Conatus, the engine of being, as like kind of like a wave, but kind of like a really well oiled like machine that like spins
Hmm.
freely, right? So there's less friction. And whenever there's like a lot of sorrow and pain, it stops the machine from spinning very well. So, and when it's not
Creates
spinning
friction.
well, it's not flourishing, and it's actually losing power, to use
Of
Spinoza's
course.
language. So, doing all of this is always on an exponential scale. So, I mean, like like it's been like philosophy is therapeutic
Hmm.
at its best. It's not necessarily therapeutic. Neither is surfing. They have to be like when they are at their best, they are, but they aren't ipso facto
Yeah.
therapeutic. But philosophy for me recently, coming like reading theories about consciousness and all the psychoanalytic research I've done, has helped me like understand, and we've all been traumatized and struggling with this Trump phenomenon, and the conspiracy theories and like what to do with our modern technology and the way this stuff proliferates so quickly.
Yeah.
But it's been therapeutic to me to like at least feel that I understand how these people hold these positions. It doesn't mean that I like that they hold these positions,
Yeah.
but it helps me like be like at least deal with them, like where I'm like, where can I like
It
I'm still not
humanizes
gonna
them.
yeah, I'm still not gonna stop figuring out. The other thing is I'm figuring out ways to like win them to my side because I want to be persuasive. I mean, that's the job of a philosopher
Yeah.
and a teacher. And like I would love, even I'm not a utopian, but like I still want humans to reach their like to keep pushing their
Potential.
potential. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay, read my other
So getting
rule.
back onto the rules here. So number 6, always find an area of surf appropriate for your ability level. If you are a beginner, it is best not to surf around other people. It is also not safe to surf alone if you are untrained, which is again why you need a teacher or mentor. Which for me in Rockaway, it's like, oh my God, there's so many other peaks for a lot of people who are just riding whitewater. You're like, why are you at the peak then? If there's definitely issues there that are that people need to have that explained to, because if I were learning to surf now, I would want to get away from a lot of people because I would be nervous, I'd be scared, and I'd want to surf like a whitewater somewhere else. But that's just me, I guess. Going on to number 7, if you cannot paddle, you cannot surf. Paddling must be learned first. There are various rules for proper paddling technique: legs together, chest up, breathing into the strokes, arms go in the water near the board, reaching downward. Absolutely. Number 8, you must learn to control the board in the water so that you can do your best to keep it from hitting yourself or other people. Absolutely. And it is preferable. Number 9, it's preferable for you to own your board, preferable for your own board to hit you than it is for it to hit other people. When faced with an option to harm self or other, harm self. Hold on to the surfboard if you suspect it may hit someone else. Duh. And 10 here, people already surfing when you enter the water have right of way. Do not paddle out and go for the first wave you see, which that can be a little flexible for some people, I imagine. Last one.
Well, if one comes
if
to
you're
you
if
and you're
you're
on the
local at a spot
inside,
and you know
yeah.
everyone and all that sort of stuff, but
Oh, even then, I mean, the one of the things here that is like this one kills me is the person that like catches the long wave and like then priorities supposedly reset.
yeah,
Uh, then they paddle around the jetty and just
yeah,
assume they're in first priority again, even
yeah,
if you can like surf okay. It's just like there's some like arch offenders of this, and it's just like I don't, this is again like it's an entitlement thing,
yeah.
and it's an understanding of oneself that like one deserves more than others,
Mm-hmm.
and even of others of comparable ability level who have been putting their time in and waiting and like and then and making excuses and reasons for why you should be above those people. And
Yeah.
I am not innocent here. Like I've done this kind of thinking.
We are
It's
all guilty of this.
it is hard not to do this kind of thinking. It's part of it's very human. But
It's
coaching has taught
primal.
me,
It's
yeah,
primal. It's
yeah,
very primal. It's a very much a fear of like not getting mine.
it's very
And
it's fear based though. It
yeah,
is. I mean, that's the thing
totally.
is it's fear based because now that I coach all the time and I do have like quite a few clients and
Could you hold on
uh
one sec, Dion?
yeah, yeah,
Hold on
yeah,
one sec.
yeah, that's funny. So I'm surfing with like I do share my practice with others so much, and I'm helping them with wave judgment and
Mhm.
in certain kind of. So I don't like to coach when it's 6 to 8 foot and like tubing. Like I've trained everybody to read surf forecasts, so they pretty much like don't even ask.
Yeah.
Except for we have like a bat signal thing. Like if you want to come watch, like those are really good conditions for watching. If it's not too cold to be on the beach. But in the like 2 to 4 foot range, which is still really fun and rippable, like those are really great coaching conditions for
Hmm.
a variety of levels. I mean, I even think like I always have this thing where like the people that want to go with me in the bigger waves, like they think it's a good idea because it's harder for them to catch waves in bigger